Everybody is having a fantastic start to their day and to their week. Here we go. It's the first Monday of the month. Hope everybody's able to be prepared, start the month strong. If I can get you to check your lines, if everybody could mute out. We've got a little background noise going on. Check your mute for me. Thank you. So we've got some really exciting stuff coming to training for you today, and super excited about it. We've got some really exciting stuff coming up the end of this week. A little Elite Academy action for everybody. Man, I'm so excited for this. It's going to be incredible as always. I was just back on the website checking out our speakers and stuff that they're going to be having for us. And I am really excited for what's going down at Elite Academy.
I'm just listening. I'm not watching.
If you could just check your phones, check your laptops, make sure everybody's muted. Can you just hit that mute? So we've got just a couple of days till Elite Academy. Today's Monday. Things start kicking off on Friday. Registration to store opens on Thursday, so we still got a few days. If you don't have your tickets or hotel or whatever, let's pull together. Let's figure this stuff out. Let's get you there, whatever it takes. We listen to all the leaders say, don't miss an event. We listen to all the life-changing stories because these top leaders did not miss an event. So if we want to be where they are, if we want to have the type of lifestyle that they have, let's go ahead and take their advice. Let's stand on the shoulders of giants and let's move forward with them leading. They've already paved the way. We've got a smooth, easy trail to walk on, and all we got to do is just kind of do what they said. So, like I said, a couple more days that we can get our planning, get everything figured out for the logistics. And again, we're here. Let's help. Some of us have been to many. Some of us have been to a few, but a lot of us have experience. So if you have any questions, concerns about any of this, not sure about it, reach out, reach up, reach over, let somebody know. We can help you with making the plans or whatever you need to get going. So definitely let's get whatever it takes to get you there. No excuses. So today I'm super excited. We've got another power-packed training. We've got our very own Caleb Wesley coming at us. And he has prepared a training that is going to be powerful, deep, impactful, and applicable to what we have going on. So we're super excited for this. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Caleb. Are you there, Caleb?
I am. Can you guys hear me okay?
We got you loud and clear. Let it rip.
Wonderful. Well, guys, let me get all my audio stuff where it needs to be real quick. Perfect. All right. So you guys can hear me okay?
We got
Beautiful.
You loud and clear.
Well, guys, I wanted to come to you today, and I want to talk about what it is that we do to maximize LifeVantage and to maximize life really as a whole, because we have a relatively short time here on this planet, and there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to grow from. I've spent a lot of time talking to you about the desire for growth. One of my paradigms that I live by is if you're not growing, you're dying. I've talked to you a lot about becoming the disciple maker, becoming the leader that someone would want to follow. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about how exactly we accomplish that. And as we proceed forward, I want you to take a moment and erase everything you know about learning. And for just a moment, I want you to become a child once more. A child that believes all things are possible. A child that is inquisitive and curious. I don't know if you guys have any young ones at home, but when you have a 4 or 5-year-old, what is the number one thing they say throughout the day? What, why, and most of all, how come? Why are things done the way that they are? How come things happen the way that they do? Everything from how a car operates, how a plane flies, the simplest things is why. And something interesting, though, about the way a child approaches learning is they do not try to figure it out themselves. And I think this is very interesting because They know that they are surrounded by adults who have had more time to learn than they have. And so what do? They ask good questions. And this is something my girlfriend has 2 kiddos, and we work with a lot, is asking good questions. And asking questions that provide you good answers, because the quality of your answer is solely and only dictated by the quality of your question. And when we think about that, when we enter into what I refer to as a student mindset, a mindset of humble receptiveness, you enter into a very useful and interesting context where you are able to shed the amount of time it takes to learn and to grow. I talk to you about reading quite frequently. And the thing that I love about reading in general is that for every topic you could fathom, there's an individual that has devoted the entirety of their life, decades upon decades of this small amount of time that we call life, to whatever topic it is that you want to learn. And you're able to tap into that decades of knowledge into a few pages of a book. You're able to compound the learning span into a relatively very short amount of time. I don't care if you're the slowest reader in existence, you go through 1 page a day. That's a heck of a lot quicker than 30 years. And that means you can read a 300-page book in 1 month. You can take 3 decades of knowledge, 30 years of knowledge, and compound that into 30 days of learning. Now that right there is one incredible tool. That becomes like magic or a superpower. And what I think is phenomenal, guys, is when you enter the student mindset, you gain access to what we call standing on the shoulders of giants. Instead of spending your short amount of time starting from ground level and only being able to build 10 stories, you're able to, in a short amount of time, be able to connect with people who have already built 50 or 100 stories. And then on top of that, be able to build your additional 10. And think about this, you're building 10 stories, that's all you get in your life. Would you rather start from the ground floor and build 10, which is 1/10 of what someone else has been able to accomplish building 100? Or would you prefer to begin on the 100th floor, build to the 110th floor, and be able to have built the tallest building in existence in the same amount of time? See, you're able to jumpstart, to compound the time frame in which we operate. And there's a ton of people who not only have taken this idea and ran with it, but have then compounded the already compounded knowledge that these people offer. And there are virtual encyclopedias that offer small snippets of the best of the greatest thinkers of not only our time, but also in all of history. There's a book called The Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. And I mean, it's a large book by any means. It could be referred to as an encyclopedia. But what Tim Ferriss has made a fortune on is compounding time frames and being able to accomplish phenomenal things by changing the mode of thought, by shedding the previously accepted concepts and ideals of what must be required to accomplish a certain goal. This is very well illustrated in his book called The 4-Hour Workweek. And if you haven't read The 4-Hour Workweek, I would greatly encourage you to, because it applies perfectly to what it is that we accomplish in network marketing. And now he doesn't necessarily refer to network marketing, but it broadens your thought process of working in this context of life and a 40-hour work week. Well, let's be honest, 50, 60, 80 hours a week for 40, 50, 60 years. And it changes what you're able to accomplish in that same premise. And now network marketing, in my opinion, takes a step even further out of that and creates an entirely new frame to work from. Another book, let me grab it real quick, that I want to refer to. It's an incredible book. It's an easy read. Your 7-year-old would love it, to be honest with you. and it's a book called I Moved Your Cheese. And what's great about this book is it's fictitious, but it talks about a series of 3 mice who live in a scientific framework of a mice maze. And they take a few things for granted. They take the fact that the frame that they live in, the maze that they live in, is taken for granted. It's an assumption, just like life or time, and it cannot be changed and it cannot be questioned. Another thing that they take for granted is the fact that the cheese will be moved, period. And the only thing that you can do is go find more cheese. Well, this book illustrates 3 mice who take a different approach. And the cheese is representative of money in today's society. And everybody takes the framework, the maze of a 40-hour work week, of a job, as the same maze that these mice live in. And the fact that the money will be moved around regardless of what you do, and all you can do is chase it, right? That's the same as if you're in sales and you have a quota to meet, so you meet the quota and then the quota is raised. It's the same as being a doctor, and now you're no longer paid per patient, but per patient per hour, and this framework, correct? Well, these mice take a different approach, and they no longer accept the fact that the maze is a given, and they realize their ability to dictate the maze that they live in. And that's the exact same thing that we do in network marketing. We are no longer shackling ourselves to this maze that we live in. And you see, this is a revolutionary thought that could have taken 50 years for me to realize. Instead, it took about 200 pages of a fictitious book about 3 months. What an incredible breakthrough with something so simple. And that is the essence of standing on the shoulders of giants. And I encourage you, because we also have, in the context of LifeVantage, the ability to stand on the shoulders of giants. We have the ability to sit at the feet of individuals who are earning $130,000 every single month doing what we're doing today. Think about that for a second. All of you on this call, have you ever made $100,000? And if you have, or if you've made more than that, how many hours did you need to devote to be able to achieve that? I was lucky enough to have an incredible mentor in my life for a while, incredibly successful man. And he was in the context of being young. He was in mid-30s, and yet he was earning well over $400,000 a year. But the question that I posed to him was, would you prefer to have $200,000 a year, but only work 4 hours a week? Or would you prefer to have $1 million a year and work 80 hours a week? And this man, making the kind of money we have struggle fathoming, would prefer to make a quarter of the amount, I'd take it back, a fifth of the amount of money, but with a 20th of the work. Do you see how these thoughts begin to change and to dictate how you approach life? It's incredible. Again, that's having the student mindset to learn from the people who have done what you want to do. Now, in the context of LifeVantage, we have a few different outlets for this information, and the best of which is Elite Academy. You hear us talk about it all the time, and I don't care if you've been to 100 Elite Academies or if you've been to 0 Elite Academies. If you do not treat it like a college course, you are wrong. I love you, but you're wrong. Just like a father raising his son to do good works, I do my best to guide you, my team, in what it takes to be successful in this industry. I promise you, I will always tell you what you need to hear, but not necessarily what you want to hear. I may make you upset sometimes, and that's okay. I will bear that burden. I will bear the burden of you getting frustrated with me, if that's what it takes to give you the life that you've dreamed of. We spent a month fathoming a new vision, fathoming what could, should, and must become. And I desire you to get there. And I sit here today in New Braunfels, Texas, to tell you that the way that you get there is to stand on the shoulders of giants and to learn from people who have done it. Elite Academy brings together all, not some, all of the individuals who are making 6 figures a year and 6 figures a month doing the exact same business that you are today. And I'll tell you this, they have no more access to product, to marketing, to material, to tools, to technology that you do not. They built what they have today, if nothing else, on less than what you have today. And they are going to stand there up on stage or in a small room or face to face with you, shaking your hand and tell you exactly what they did to achieve what they have. I've had the honor to be mentored by a Pro 10 for quite a while now. And the thing that I have gleaned from this man who has had over 30 years of experience doing what it is that we're doing is that you have to be humble and learn from those who've done what you want to do. To do what they have done to get what they have. And now my question for you, whether you're on this call live, whether you're tuning in, do you know everything you know you need to know to be successful? Let me ask it a different way. Are you already as successful as you want to be? Do you have the time freedom? Do you have the financial freedom? Do you have a bank account to where you don't have to look at the price of the food at the restaurant before you buy it? Do you have a car that you have always dreamed of? Are you living the life that you envisioned last month? And if the answer is no, then that means that you need to continue to learn. That means that you need to stand on the shoulders of the giants who have done what it is that you want to accomplish. When the light bulb was being created, the concept of there being incandescent light at any moment in any place was fictitious. It was just as asinine as the idea of manned flight, of a human being being able to access the realm of birds. And yet, there was a man who dedicated his life to that belief. And he has a famous quote, which I think is particularly relevant for us today, is he was being interviewed. And they asked him, how do you feel about failing 10,000 times at creating the incandescent light bulb? And he sat back and smiled. And he looked the reporter in the eye. And he said, my friend, I did not discover 10,000 failures. Nay, I discovered 10,000 ways how not to create a light bulb. And if you think about that concept of the refusal to accept failure, the dedication to an ideal, it changes the way you approach life. Again, a lesson that took him 10,000 mistakes, 10,000 days, 10,000 mornings of waking up and not achieving the success you can glean in the 30-second story that I just told you. One of the brightest minds that has ever graced this world can speak through the ages and explain to you concepts, ideas, and paradigms that have taken them a lifetime to comprehend. How powerful. So on the account of Elite Academy, if I mentioned you do not look at Elite Academy like a college course, then I said that you're wrong. That I love you, but you're wrong. And I want to expand upon that for a moment. If you go to medical school and you want to become a doctor, doctors make approximately 10 to 20 grand a month, which is like a Pro 7, Pro 8 income for us. Very achievable, and many people have done it. And you have the potential to make 10 times the amount of a cardiologist. Okay, so the doctor goes to school. They have to spend 4 years in undergrad. Do they get to pick the classes they attend? Not really. Not really. They choose to major in pre-med, and the advisor says, or the counselor, whatever you want to call him, says, these are the courses that you must attend. Good luck. Oh, and by the way, you have to spend about $50,000 to complete these. Cool. Awesome. So you take out loans, and you dedicate the next 4 years of your life to not get paid, to spend $40,000 to attend these courses. Then they apply to medical school. and the story repeats itself. You have another 4 years. You have to attend these classes, and you don't get to say, oh, honestly, you know, I have a birthday party that month, and I can't really attend that class. You know what they'll tell you? Okay, that's perfectly fine. Attend it next month, and it's just going to take you a month longer. Then they get out of school, and then they have a 2-year internship, right? They do rotations, clinical rotations, all before they begin to get paid a tenth of what my pro 10s get paid. If you want to make the type of money that cardiologist spent a decade to earn, you better step up. You better make Elite Academy a priority. Because I'll tell you this, if it takes you 5 years to become a pro 10, was it worth it? I would say so. But let me further that thought. If you take 5 years, but throughout those 5 years, you skip an Elite Academy each year, you miss a couple of LifeVantage academies, you miss a few Monday morning Zooms, now all of a sudden it's going to take you 7 years. Like the way I did that, I added an extra finger. It's going to take you 7 years. Because the same amount of work and time and education is required. The barrier of entry to earn $100,000 a year or $100,000 a month is the exact same. Whether you do it like Rachel Jackson and achieve the rank of Pro 9 in 2.5 years, or you take 15 years to achieve the same, the education and the time was identical. The time devoted, the time speaking to people, all was the same. The difference, how many years they decided to do it in. So I have one more question for you, my friends, before I let you go today. Would you be okay with putting off your future, putting off your life for an extra 5 years? And if not, then I will see you at Elite Academy in Charleston. I love you guys. God bless.
Wow, awesome stuff. Thank you, Caleb. Always thought-provoking. I mean, this guy goes deep. Gets me my gears turning, gets me thinking. I've got notes again to review. I just love it. I love being able to learn new, learn more, learn different outlooks on topics and on things. It just kind of broadens the horizon. You know, we hold these Zooms every week to benefit our team, to benefit each other. You know, some people say that, you know, I learned so much from Caleb's teaching, or I learned so much from last month we went to go see Dan Mollering at LVA. And so then when you say that to those teachers, those speakers, they say, I actually learned probably more than you did. And a lot of people look at that and they go, how is that? Well, that's because the teacher prepares for all of this. The teacher revisits all of this information. The teacher reviews all of this information before, during, and while they're bringing it to you. So, you know, we bring these Zooms to you every week. We hope that the information is pertinent and valuable. We want to bring value. I know I always gain a lot from every Zoom I'm on. So we want to continue these. We want to continue to bring valuable information to everybody so that we can continue to grow as individuals and as a team. So, you know, we've had some teachers in the past. You know, I just want to thank everybody who's taken time to come on here and share with us some of their expertise, their knowledge, their points of view. It's really, really incredible. There's nothing more precious on this planet than a teacher. So, you know, again, Caleb, I want to thank you. I thank everybody else who's taken a part in sitting in that role as a speaker teacher. And before we bring this to a close, you know, we've talked in the past about coming up with a list. I hope everybody's got a list. Make sure that you're working your plan your day, work your plan, and let's get after it, guys. Love everybody, and power to the distributors.
Love you guys. I'll see you on the next call. Y'all have a great day.